welcome to some serious archaeology. What you're looking at here is what archaeologists over the years, over the globe, over time, have confronted a table full of pottery. You've been hearing a lot about pottery from different people in different forms. What my lovely assistant Andy and I are going to do today is basically sort this table full of pottery and explain to you how archaeologists approach what looks like a mess of clay and begin to make sense of it. So this is all of a single period, the Roman period. So we don't have the complication of maybe this is early Bronze Age and maybe this is modern and all that. So this is a single period assemblage. And I think we're going to start by sorting according to form. And as has been mentioned elsewhere in the course, different parts of a pot will give you sort of tighter information about function or about chronology. And there's kind of a hierarchy. Rims are most helpful. You love it when you find a rim. Bases, next down, not bad, not quite as sensitive to change through time. Handles, handles tends to be a handle. And then body sherds. And body sherds are often least helpful unless they have some sort of decoration on them. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our rims over here, our bases here, our handles here, and our body sherds there. Good luck.
Sense.
All right, let's do it. Sometimes you can't tell. It's like
rim, isn't it?
Rim. Yeah, sometimes you think, well, it could be no, it's not a handle. Or is it moving to be a base? But I think we are right, it is a rim. Handle is, we'll show some specific handles, and sometimes they have stubs on them where they would have attached to the pot, sometimes they don't. This, I should explain, is a sort of a pre-sorted assemblage from a prior dig done by Brown University. So I think, if we'd been digging and just, in this Roman site and pulling stuff out, this is an unlikely assemblage to get. There's a lot of feature sherds, there's a lot of diagnostics here. As you can see, we don't have many body sherds. So someone's clearly kind of come along and sorted this already. And I'm sorry to say, probably a lot from the original totality of the assemblage has probably been discarded in a lot of archaeological projects. There's not enough room for storage. You can imagine this times, 10,000, just lots and lots and lots of pottery. And in the good old, bad old days, it used to be thought, well, why keep it? Nowadays, we keep more, we store more, because we can learn, always can learn more, even from the plainest of body sherds. You can do this for hours. You think this is boring? Try doing it all day, every day for 6 weeks or more. I shouldn't say it's boring. If you love pottery, some people just this is their world. This is their life. They love it. Again, you can see that it's sometimes, and these are actually pretty good pieces. And sometimes you'll pick up something and you can tell it's not just a body sherd, but it depends on where the break was. So there's indeterminate is a category to keep in mind. Okay. So these are our rims, and they come, as you see, in all shapes and sizes. This Pithos?
Pithos or Dolia.
Pithos or Dolia, big two terms for very large vessels. Check out this. This is just the rim, like that. And it very courseware, very strong, very, rock-like, very sturdy. And, these things last. In archaeological survey, when you're walking across the landscape, when you're just looking at the ground, finding pottery on the surface, it's the tougher stuff that tends to survive. So big stuff, small stuff. Here, tell them about that.
So this is a piece of African red slip, or sigillata. You can see, actually it's quite hard to see, but it's got a very nice red slip over the outside of the pottery. Is that a better?
That's a better piece.
Is that a better piece?
Better piece.
And that would be used for fine sort of tablewares instead of being used for coursewares or for cooking. So more of a serving dish than a cooking dish. Yeah, so you can see the fine red sort of glaze that's over top of this pottery as opposed to the coarser cooking wares. Great. Very, very typically Roman pottery.
Made in North Africa, but found all over the empire, and indeed even beyond the borders of the empire. ARS has been found, for example, in India and places like that. So it travels. This material travels. All right, bases. This base, yeah, I guess it's a base, but as you see, it's got a hole in it. It's been perforated, which can mean various things. In some contexts, it might point to ritual use. There are sort of grave vessels in ancient cultures where you're pouring libations, you're pouring offerings to the dead, and it goes right through. And there's a hole in the bottom. You pour it into the vessel, and it descends into the earth towards the dead. In this case, though, it's not exactly the
shape for it.
The shape for it, or it's not the loveliest material. Not that grave goods always have to be fancy. So why else might it be pierced? It doesn't look accidental, but it's a mystery. Which everyone likes to think archaeology is all about mystery. Sometimes it's true. So different shapes, some from fine wares. Okay.
Here's an example of a fine ware, again, red slip, but we can see that it's a very open vessel. So it would be more of a plate or a serving dish as opposed to a closed pot.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we have any clearly closed shapes here.
We do, actually. Where did it go?
Which one?
Ah! So this, in contrast to a more open vessel, we can see the rim of it is actually curving around like this. So we can see that it's coming up around like this, the rim. So as the pot as a whole would be sort of very, very shut in its shape instead of an open mouth.
As we're showing you these pieces of pottery, you'll see markings on them. In fact, a lot of the artifacts we'll be showing you will have writing on them. Look at this stuff. Could you look at it and say, oh, and then come back 2 years later and say, I remember exactly that handle. Some people can pretty much do that, but for the most part, we have to use labels. So this label will tell you, where it comes from and a number that will specifically identify it. So someone 10 years hence could come back and say, I want to look at that handle. I'm going to look at this number. And there are various ways to mark artifacts. Often it is just simply ink, India ink, with a nib pen written on the material itself. When I ask people to do this kind of thing, I ask them to put it in a slightly less obvious place. This is right smack in the middle of what you kind of might be wanting to look at. Often you put them on the side instead, just so it's there but more discreet. My dream in life is to figure out a way to barcode pottery or some sort of micro dot or something like that, so that you can keep track of it, but you don't really, this is in some ways affecting, defacing the artifact, but it's necessary if we're going to have to study it. Anything else about handles?
Not really.
Handles? Handles are handles. And base sherds, body sherds. What do we got?
We got some more red slip. Actually, in this one we can see that it's got a nice sort of design on it. So
stamp?
A stamp, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, what is it? Show me.
Looks like a hedgehog or something. No?
Hedgehog?
You don't see it?
I do. No, I don't see a hedgehog. I was going to say
jug.
it's a flower. No, it's we'll get back to you on this. It's kind of embarrassing. But again, if we had the whole thing, we could tell. We don't. We get this. So. But a lot of the fine Roman red slipware is stamped or rouletted. There are various kinds of decoration. Less exciting, combed ware.
More.
Yeah, that when pots are made on the wheel and turned, that sometimes the potter will sort of basically drag a comb over the surface, resulting in this kind of corrugated or sort of cardboard-looking substance. And that too can be, somewhat diagnostic. A lot of periods, a lot of cultures do this kind of decoration, but it's better than an absolutely plain body sherd. So we took this table of pottery and we sorted it out. We classified it by form, rims, base, handles, body sherds. We're just going to very quickly do a different kind of sort, a different kind of classification. We're going to divide it up by fabric this time, the nature of the material, the quality and type of material. So we're going to have very coarse, and fine. Very simple classification. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Done.
By fabric.